Okay, so now that I've woven some black, let's we can see that I'm now having the opposite problem. Now the black takes over wherever the yarn gets lighter in color, and it looks okay even with the very darkest colors, but I'm still not happy. So I'm going to try out two more yarns on this pass, and yes, I did already wind my shuttles, and we'll see how they go. So the first one I want to show you is a hand spun yarn that I wove, oh my gosh, so many years ago I can barely stand it. I honestly have no recollection of this except that it was at least 11 years ago and probably longer than that. And I spun this as a gradient. So my two shuttles are woven with the gray from the middle of the cake and then the teal from the outer end of the cake. Well, that's the wrong shuttle. That's the wrong end. The teal from the outer side of the cake. And I honestly don't know what is going to happen if I try and weave an entire panel where the weft changes color. Or let me put it this way. I know what's going to happen, which is that the weft will change color, but I don't know how it's going to look compared to these yarns. So doing one shuttle from the beginning of the cake and one shuttle or the outside of the cake and the other from the inside of the cake will give me some idea. And so this yarn, if I chose to use it, I have just barely enough for weft for, I'm going to say most, if not all of this project. I might be able to get the whole thing in this one weft, but it would be tight. And yarn chicken is really kind of exhausting, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. The other yarn I want to try is a hand spun that I just finished yesterday. This is Wool of the Andes top from Knit Picks in a colorway called Baltic Heather. And though I don't have enough in this cake, I can make more of this. I can get more of this top, I hope, in this colorway and spin more of it if I decide that this is the winning yarn. And then the last one I'm going to try out, if I decide to not do a very patterned warp, which is to say a kind of plaid against the stripes in the weft, which is what's left of this DK weight unique mercerized cotton. And again, if I need to, I'm reasonably certain that I remember where I bought this and I can get some more. So I'm going to try these first three and then I'll have to wind another warp and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is the outside of the cake from the gradient hand spun. And I have to figure out where on earth I'm at in my weaving pattern, which fortunately is pretty easy. One of the beautiful things about plain weave is what it does with color, how it shows off color. Sorry, my apologies. This is not the outside of the cake from the gradient. This is the Baltic Heather hand spun. One of the beautiful things about weaving so much with hand spun as I do is how it shows off the color and the texture of the yarn in truly amazing, amazing ways. And that was what I wanted for this wrap. So that is half the fun. I also love using handspun because of the color interaction. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I wore everybody out at the Arizona Fiber Festival when I was there, telling everybody who knitted that they or spun that they really needed to start rigid heddle weaving because it was an easy entree into weaving, and the color interactions that happen when you see two yarns at once crossing over each other is something that you just do not get no matter how much you try when you knit or crochet with your hand spun, that you're going to just get these amazing color interactions that will just blow your mind. You will start to look at color in a different way. At least that's what I found. Okay, so this yarn is coming in at about a DK to worsted weight. And again, because it's hand spun and it's my hand spun, it's going to vary. Uh, but I got to say, so far, I'm really digging this, except that I feel some of this light area is going to just kind of not be as prominent as I might have wanted. However, I might be willing to live with that just because it's pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do another pick, Deb, because it's easier to measure an inch when you've got 8 picks. And let's see how I'm doing on my beat. And that could be better. Okay, I can see at a glance that is more than an inch. So I'm going to have to beat a little more with this heavier yarn. Yeah, that's about 1 3/8 of an inch. However, I am kind of digging how these colors are playing with each other. As I keep saying over and over and over again, we're just going to have to see. And the fact that if I need to, I can get more or make more of this yarn is a big plus. All right, I'm going to advance my warp a little bit more. And now I'm going to do the inside of the cake from my gradient yarn. And I can tell it's the inside of the cake because it's gray. These small amounts of yarn that I am using are they're part of the price you pay for experimenting. And whoops, that was the same shed. So let's go to the down shed and see. Even experienced people do this all the time. They forget which shed to go into, and they just have to unweave, and it's no big deal. It's especially common when you're, I don't know, doing it in public. So this yarn, this hand spun, comes in at, I said DK, but it might actually be a little closer to sport. It might even be a little closer to fingering. And as always, hand spun's going to vary. Well, that's interesting. This gray is looking better than I thought it would. Because the last time I tried gray, a light gray, or more of a medium gray, on a variegated warp, I thought it was going to be the one that I liked best, and it was probably the one I liked least. So you just never know, or you can guess, but you won't really know until you sample. And wow, this yarn is so staticky. That's what I'm fiddling with here on the edges every time I fumble, is the yarn is sticking to itself. There's also, as fiddly as stick shuttles can be, it is so soothing to just sit here and weave plain weave. I just love this feeling. Okay, Deb, just do it, take it out and do it right. Okay. Tugging on the end like that, not going to work very well. So now what I'm seeing is I'm going to have more of a plaid effect, whether I intended it or not. And the plaid will change over time if I go with a gradient yarn. And that could be kind of interesting. It could also be, though, that if I decide to go with this yarn, that I will end up getting partway through and then go, oh. And then I will just, yes, take it all out, because I'm not going to waste this precious hand-dyed fiber that I painstakingly spun into yarn. And I hope this is in view. I hope you can see this on camera, how the crammed part of the warp gives a different look to this. What I would do next time if I decided to try something like this again is put this on the edge and maybe put it on both edges so that it's heavier on the two edges and lighter in the middle. But now I know. And cramming and denting is a really fun way to make a lacy looking weave that isn't actually a lace weave. Because there are many lace weaves, and you can, in fact, do them on rigid heddle looms with pickup sticks or second heddles. Uh, you can also do them on floor looms, and they're very, very beautiful. I've been ogling Jane Stafford's kitchen towels with Bronson lace insets inside a sort of grid thing going on, a plaid thing going on, and they're gorgeous. Though I would probably only ever use them to dry my hands because I've learned the hard way that floats on a kitchen towel do not do well when you're drying things like forks or knives. Okay, so let's see how I did on my picks per inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now I would need to space this out a little bit more. And this is what we learn. So before my 15 minutes are up on the timer, I've got time to do the outer side of this cake. And let's see what happens here. And I'm not going to do a complete set of picks. Maybe I am. I forgot to tuck my tail, and that's okay. No, it's not okay. There we go. Okay, because that loop on my selvage was going to make me slightly nuts. And you want weaving to be fun. You don't want to be agitating over something isn't really a problem. Wow, this yarn is super staticky. And I will probably just lightly mist this with water before I go on. If I choose to use this yarn. I could have wound this shuttle so much better, and I didn't. And that is why I'm having fussy bits now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I still need to beat more. So this is what my 3 handspun yarns look like. And when we come back, I'll do the unique cotton DK.